There is a business in America that loses money on purpose, and the people who own it are not confused about this. They know. They budget for it. They lose $200,000 a year, sometimes more, and they keep the doors open anyway, decade after decade, and every single one of them sleeps fine at night. It looks like a hobby for rich men. It looks like vanity. It is neither, because the golf course was never the business. The grass was never the product. And once you understand what these people are actually holding, you will never look at that green space on the edge of town the same way again. Start with what it costs to get in. A private golf club with 18 holes sits on somewhere between 100 and 200 acres. In a rural county, that land might cost a few $1,000s an acre. On the edge of a growing metro, that same acreage can run $50,000, $100,000, sometimes far more per acre, because the land is not being priced as farmland anymore. It is being priced as future houses. So before you have moved a single shovel of dirt, you might be sitting on $10, $20, $40 million of raw land. Then you build the course itself, shaping the land, moving earth, cutting drainage, laying irrigation, growing turf. A new 18-hole course can cost anywhere from $5 to $15 million just to construct. And that is before the clubhouse, which is its own building, with its own kitchen, its own bar, its own locker rooms, its own staff. By the time the first golfer walks the first tee, you have spent enough to build a small hotel. Now here is where it gets strange. Look at what comes back in. A private club charges an initiation fee, sometimes $5,000, sometimes $50,000. At the most exclusive clubs, it can climb into six figures. And here is the part that surprises people. At most clubs, that money is not refundable. You do not own anything. You bought the right to pay more, because after the initiation, there are monthly dues, maybe $500, maybe $1,000 a month, every month, forever, whether you play or not. And most members do not play nearly as much as they think they will. So the club collects dues from people who are not on the course, which sounds familiar if you have ever paid for a gym or a car wash you stopped using. There is also cart revenue, green fees for guests, the pro shop, and the food and beverage operation in the clubhouse. 4 streams. Sounds healthy. Now look at what goes out. This is where the business breaks. Start with water. A single 18-hole golf course in a warm climate can use 100,000 to over 1 million gallons of water per day. In Palm Springs, in Phoenix, in the desert Southwest, courses have been documented using close to 1 million gallons daily in summer. Water is not free. Some clubs pay hundreds of thousands of dollars a year just to keep the grass from dying. Then the labor. A championship course needs a grounds crew, sometimes 20, 30 people, mowing greens at heights measured in fractions of an inch, hand raking bunkers, moving pins, spraying fungicide, aerating, verticutting, edging, 7 days a week before dawn, every day of the season. Then the equipment. Mowers for greens, mowers for fairways, mowers for rough, aerators, sprayers, utility carts, a fleet of golf carts, all of it wearing out on a schedule. A well-equipped maintenance shed can hold $1 million of machinery. Then chemicals, fertilizer, sand, seed, insurance, property tax, and the clubhouse staff, which in most clubs loses money on food and beverage every single year as a matter of routine. Add it up. Maintaining a private 18-hole course commonly runs $1 to $2 million a year, and at elite clubs it goes far higher. So now do the math a normal person would do. Dues coming in, maybe a few million if you have enough members. Costs going out, $1 to $2 million, plus debt service, plus capital projects, plus the bunker renovation someone on the committee has wanted for 3 years. In a good year, the club breaks even. In a normal year, it loses money. And here is the number that should end the story. Golf courses in America have been closing more than opening for years. Hundreds of courses have shut down over the last decade. The math does not work. The business does not work. So why does anyone build them? Why do wealthy, sophisticated people who are extremely good at money keep buying assets that bleed cash every year? Because you have been looking at the wrong asset. You have been looking at the grass. Look under it. A golf course is 150 acres of contiguous, undivided, entitled land sitting inside a growing city, with roads already touching it, water lines already running to it, and homes already built along its edges. There is no other way to hold a parcel that big, that close in, that clean. Try to assemble 150 acres in a metro area by buying it house by house. You cannot. The moment word gets out that someone is assembling, prices explode, holdouts appear, and the deal dies. But a golf course is already assembled. It has been sitting there since 1960, held in one piece, one owner, one title. And here is what makes it beautiful. While it sits there, it is is not a vacant lot. A vacant lot is a liability. It gets taxed as development land, it gets weeds, it gets squatters, it gets attention. But a golf course is a functioning business with revenue, with employees, with members who show up. It looks alive, it looks permanent, and in many states, land actively used as a golf course is taxed at a lower agricultural or open space rate, sometimes a fraction of what the same land would be taxed at if it were sitting empty waiting for a developer. Read that again. The grass is not the product. The grass is the reason the tax bill is small. The clubhouse is not the amenity. The clubhouse is the evidence that this is a business, not a land bank. The losses are not a failure. The losses are the carrying cost of holding 150 acres in the path of growth, and they are cheap compared to what that land will be worth when the city finally arrives. So the owner loses $200,000 a year. Meanwhile, the land underneath appreciates. In a metro growing at 5% a year, $40 million of land gains $2 million in value annually. He loses $200,000 on the operation and makes $2 million on the dirt. He is not running a failing golf course. He is being paid 9-to-1 to babysit an appreciating asset, and the golfers are paying him to do it. Now you understand why the memberships exist. The members are not customers. The members are the maintenance budget. Their dues are what keeps the grass alive, so the property stays classified as a golf course, so the tax bill stays low, so the land can sit for another decade until the number is right. Every month, a member pays his dues. He is funding the storage fee on someone else's land bank. And when the number is finally right, this is how it ends. The owner announces the club is no longer financially viable, which is true. It was never viable. The members are stunned. There are meetings, there are letters. Someone brings up the initiation fees and learns what non-refundable actually means. And then the applications go in. Rezone 150 acres of open space to residential. 400 homes, 600 homes. The fairways become streets. The greens become cul-de-sacs. And the number at the bottom of that transaction is not $400,000. It is a number with 8 digits in it. This has happened over and over across America. It is common enough that homeowners who bought houses on the fairway, who paid a premium for that view, have organized, sued, and lobbied to stop it, because the day the course closes, their view becomes a construction site and their property value goes with it. There are court cases about this. There are neighborhoods fighting it right now, because the golfers thought they were members of a club. The homeowners thought they were buying a permanent view. Nobody read the actual asset. To see the whole machine in one image, stand on the 18th green at 6 in the morning in late summer. The sprinklers are running, thousands of gallons an hour going into grass that produces nothing, on land nobody farms, in a business that loses money. It looks like the most beautiful waste in America, and in an office somewhere, a man is looking at a map of that same 150 acres with lot lines drawn over it. Not fairways, lots, 400 of them. He has had that map for 11 years. He is not waiting for the golf to get profitable. He is waiting for the city to finish walking toward him. The sprinklers are not watering grass. They are paying rent on a piece of land in the only currency the tax assessor accepts. That is the business. The golf course is not an asset that generates cash. It is a costume that land wears while it waits. And the most valuable thing on that entire property is the one thing no member ever sees, the one thing that has been quietly doing all the work for 40 years, the dirt. Every business you drive past has a real asset and a visible one, and they are almost never the same thing. The mall was never the stores, the car wash was never the wash, and the golf course, the most expensive, most beautiful, most manicured business in America, was never about golf at all. It was about being patient in public,